Absolutely preposterous. Nobody would lie on the internet.
Yeah.
Last series of the day, Firebat versus Eddie. Firebat looking to see if he can improve. I just realized there's a piece of my hair sticking up, TJ.
No, it's flattering.
I'm just like...
Wow, look at that texture.
Good? Is it fixed? Producer's like, you should fix that. Like,
when you turn to the side, it does look kind of funny, actually. Yeah. Just keep it like that.
it's the antenna of which they
turn
beam all of the analysis and direction of how I should be cast.
Can you turn all the way to the right?
It's my mind control antenna. Blizzard's speaking through me right now. You should pre-order the next expansion. I don't even know if it's even possible. You definitely can.
Turn all the way to the right.
To my right.
To your right. There it is. Beautiful. Nicely done.
We're stalling, clearly. Next match is Eddie versus Firebat. We have Firebat on the Druid. Druid with the Acidic Swampooze and the Tendine Tauren. Firebat came on broadcast and said, why are y'all playing King Feorus? He said, quote, hot garbage.
And then...
I'm like, well, I don't even know why you're quoting Drake right here.
And then Ike tweeted out, what, 30 minutes before Firebat said that, saying King Feorus is
The nuts.
sleeper.
Yeah.
The sleeper, the nuts in the
It
set.
was like the best card in the set and we didn't even know.
Put it in Shaman, of all things.
I don't know who to believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I saw Viper play King Feorus in Shaman this week, and it was a lot better than I thought.
Yeah.
And Viper was like, yeah, I could have played better. I think I threw my series that I was playing, and I wasn't really paying close attention because I was getting ready and getting makeup and stuff, trying to look pretty, and of course, style my hair up straight vertically towards the ceiling. So as I was getting ready, I was not paying close attention to the Viper series. It turns out that maybe Feorus in Shaman or other classes are great. Like, what other classes can we put Feorus in? Pretty sure we could justify putting in Warrior. Warrior just gets to that point of the game anyways and just, like, amounts some kind of comeback.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a nice greedy inclusion for already greedy decks, right?
Sure.
Which I think can make sense in a lot of cases. But we're going to get to see kind of the battle of it here.
Must be preserved.
Of Eddie, who's in the King Feorus camp, and Firebat, who is not. So he's got a lot more early game, though. Acorn Bear, Hungry Crab, Acidic Swamp Ooze, Mark of the Loa, and some Tendies. But let's get into it. Firebat, clean shaven for today. Looks like
Is he?
mustache
Yeah, he
was
is. Wow.
just for the Muzzy series.
He's a man of many faces. Who
Yeah.
really is Firebat? Or are multiple people Firebat and they each take turns, TJ? Assuming Firebat. You can't just beat Muzzy, take his mustache, and then shave it off.
Well,
That is disrespectful.
well, maybe it was Firebat attempting to prove that the mustache is not the source of power for winning. He just needed to prove that point to Muzzy. Maybe he was helping out Muzzy. He's saying, Muzzy, it's not about the mustache. It's about your heart and your will and your competitive drive. He was helping him out by giving him some motivation to be better and not rely on his facial hair to win him Hearthstone matches. And so now they've both shaved. Muzzy lost again today, so who knows? But going next week, maybe that was the key, the secret. He needed to trust in himself,
Yeah. That
not
was
the
why.
stash.
That was why. The second Crystal Merchant here for Eddie is pretty intense. Eddie can now play another 1/4, draw another card. Firebat's pretty behind. The Innervate off the quest, very impactful too, because that means Eddie's lost, or not lost, but he cut off one extra turn that he needed. And Firebat doesn't have an answer correctly right now. He can play his ooze right back. And Druid in a matchup like this, I found that Druid, it really does depend on how proactive you can be. Unless the Druids play mind control tech, which they really don't. I have seen a few Druids on ladder do it, but neither of these players are running MCT.
Is Eddie?
Oh, is Eddie doing it?
I think so. I actually don't have Eddie's list. I somehow lost them.
Okay, let me check real quick.
I didn't even have them yesterday.
Oh, he is running a mind control.
Yeah, he's running one mind control tech.
Okay, well, that is specifically, I think, for Shaman in the Mirror. A lot of them don't.
He's cut a swipe.
Interesting.
Very interesting. He's going to play War Druid Lodi here for the rush to try and protect his Crystal Merchant, draw some more cards. Unfortunately, Oasis Surge is going to cut that short, but at least Eddie is rolling into a Nourish here with not too much board going on. But Firebat can Nourish right back, or even if he's feeling quite bold. Oasis Surger.
Yeah, he doesn't have the Oasis Surger to save for a King Feoris.
Yep.
But he does have the Oasis Surger to number 2. Or the Expedition.
Yep. I think honestly Oasis Surger might be the best target for Floop in Firebat's deck. That or Cenarius.
Cenarius is probably the best.
Cenarius is probably the best, but he loses like the most stats on it, whereas Oasis Surger, you're actually gaining stats by playing Floop with it. Tending Tauren, you're getting the exact same stats.
Eddie has the ability to play, or take Mark the Loa and use it for King Feoris. Druid the Scythe is a mana-efficient tempo tool. You can use it as a 4/4 rusher that has taunt. Kind of like a bootleg War Druid Lodi. The Nubisas defender gets eaten up very easily by this. I'm actually fairly surprised that he went for this. It seems super easy to get punished for.
Yeah.
But I think maybe Eddie's thinking that he can get value off of cards like Bees, potentially. Like Bees, Mark of the Loa, something equivalent of that nature. Either way, Firebat doing the good stuff, which is fighting for tempo, pushing damage. Nourish, that'll always be there. You don't get an opportunity to develop so far ahead of your opponent like this very often.
Yeah.
Also, he has a really nice play next turn with Nourish and Crystal Merchant and Anubis Thought Defender with the flexibility of Wrathing instead.
Yeah, I mean, he is thinking Eddie would have to use a lot of resources to move this board. He would have to spend his entire turn doing so.
Right.
If he does that, then all of a sudden I get to reload on the board, draw cards, and ramp.
Well, this is about to get pretty painful for Firebat. Eddie has the Feoris and the Floop, but by forcing 2 spells, that is a good thing.
Yeah, forcing 2 spells, but his King Feoris isn't even hindered that much by this. He still has a 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop, and 6-drop coming out from Feoris.
Second defender here would be pretty massive for Firebat. Ooh, a War Druid Lodi.
Lodi with Starfall.
Yes, Lodi invested ahead of time. Very powerful. Now, Eddie plays the Feoris. What's he get? A 3, 4, 5, 6. Missile Launcher is not good, actually, because it softens up his board.
Oh my goodness.
So now Firebat has the option of Starfalling and going for a Nourish or a Mark of the Loa with it. The stats are still slightly inconveniently lined up.
Yeah, the Missile Launcher and King Feoris would be alive at 1 health.
Still helps a little bit.
Yeah. The recurring villain is a weird priority, I feel.
What about Wrath and Starfall, and then you can play like Crystal Merchant. Oh, watch a little bit too much TI. Yeah, I like the Wrath. I think he's anticipating also another Feoris setup, so him drawing cards here is fairly important.
Yeah.
Oh, Bees. Well, there you go. Board clear, and he gets some pressure. Great pickup here for Firebat. And if he picks up Cenarius, he kills Eddie. I think Eddie might have to Starfall this instead.
Yeah. Starfall, King Feoris, and Starfall. Oh! Woo!
That's way better. He even has Mark of the Loa.
I mean, he could Starfall, Ziliax, and push 2.
True that.
And then what's Firebat gonna do?
Yep. Now, I think Firebat would probably fully acknowledge that in the mirror specifically, Feoris is very good, especially if they get Floop. It's just too much stats. It almost really didn't even matter what Firebat was able to generate, or rather what Eddie generated, because he's in a tough spot regardless. Firebat's token-based approach with the Acorn Bearers not going to do much here. Worthy Expedition. Oasis Surger. He's going to try to stay in it, but it's looking like Eddie's just going to snowball into a game 1 victory. Firebat's Druid not teched for the mirror here.
No, not at all. In fact, Eddie has the King Feoris plus a Mind Control tech, which seems also very good in the mirror. I mean, maybe there's a world where he like aggroes him down, but the token-based approach is interesting. I wonder what the Acorn Bearers are.
It's better fight against Zeus.
Yeah, true. But it doesn't even have Power of the Wild, which feels like I mean, I guess you go quest 1, Acorn Bearer turn 2. You have board presence while also getting closer to your quest. Then turn 3, if your Acorn Bearer dies, you have 2 1/1s, and you also get progress towards your quest. 5 damage on board plus 9, so that's 14. Bloodlust would be...
Yeah, Bloodlust would be lethal.
Yeah.
Assuming we're counting correctly. Let's count again. 5, 8, 14. Oh, Eddie's trying to reduce the mana cost to Savage Roar? Or Bloodlust, is it?
Savage Roar actually would be 1 off, wouldn't it?
I mean, Bloodlust was lethal either way.
Yeah.
I think Eddie was just trying to manipulate the mana to like reduce the range of what Nemesis would offer you.
Yeah.
But
if you have lethal on board with Bloodlust, it'll always give you Bloodlust, I'm pretty sure. That's like the high value one. Because Bloodlust doesn't need any other interactions besides the ability for your minions to attack. So Eddie taking game number 1.
all right, well, Eddie, we kind of expected him to take this game and with the Druid versus Druid, but perhaps the other decks that Firebat will be targeting. Because remember, Eddie is not playing Warrior. This is the only lineup that's not playing Warrior for this weekend. And more specifically, Firebat was calling out in the interview that he felt a lot more confident beating Muzzy because he thought that going against Eddie would be his easier opponent, not because of his technical ability, but because of the lineups.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what ends up happening. We're going to take a brief intermission, our last break of the week for Grandmasters. So when we come back, we're going to find out the conclusion between Firebat and Eddie. Stay tuned.
The shadows are rising again, darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the markets, and ancient mysticism. There sure be scorching deserts, adventure, monster of narcissism. High stakes think annihilation, obliteration of civilization. Now is the time to be brave. Evil's come to enslave, but this league's gonna save. Oh,
My name is Eddie Liu, formerly Sehun628. Now it's just Eddie playing. My last year I had a pretty successful year, especially since I only played this game for 2 years. I won DreamHack Atlanta. It's only a tour style, but it meant a lot to me, especially since I was grinding really hard for a win. When I first knew that, like I received the email that I got into Grandmaster, I was really excited. I checked my email at like 10:30 and I was like hyped. I was like, oh my God, is this actually real? I think I'm a very consistent player. I think the X factor for myself is that I hate playing aggro decks, I would say. I'm a very control/anti-control player. I rather outgrind my opponent in resources. I constantly judge myself, oh, is this right? Is what I'm doing correct? And it means a lot. It means a lot to me that if other people are agreeing what I do and what I think. At this point, I just want to make Worlds. I had a pretty good record in tour stop. I think I was at least top 10, if not top 5. I think I was lucky. I think this group is the easier group, and I think I have a good chance getting out of groups.
My name is James Kostasich. My handle is Firebat. My username is based off the StarCraft player Firebat Hero. I was a fan of him and watched him on Twitch early on in his career, and then just named myself Firebat because I thought it was cool. Something about me that people don't know, I really hate spending money. I try and save it whenever I can. I recently learned how to repair a dishwasher so that I didn't have to buy a new dishwasher. I like doing stuff like that. I get a really good sense of accomplishment and pride whenever I'm able to salvage something. My favorite Hearthstone Esports memory is winning the 2014 World Championship. That was pretty tough to beat, but I'm hoping that one day I can beat that memory. Being in Grandmasters, to me, means that I get another chance to prove myself and show that 2014 wasn't a fluke and that I am still here to play. I mean, I love playing against my own region because I get to play against a lot of my friends, which is always like really fun and entertaining, and there's so many different mind games. But at the same time, I'd really love to play against Europe and really knock them down a few pegs because they're so cocky all the time. I look forward to winning the most and losing the least. I definitely don't want to lose, and I definitely want to win, so it's really simple.
Firebat Eddie's continuing with Paladin versus the Warrior, as we have Paladin from Eddie being the OTK Holy Wrath Paladin and Warrior from Firebat. I think that the Paladin matchup versus Warrior is very tough. People are saying that, you know, very jokingly, that Firebat, that Warrior, TJ's pointing and like motioning a bunch of stuff.
Look at that 3-mana slot, Dan.
I am. I see the Volpera Scoundrel. Let me finish my thought.
I didn't say anything, and it's not like I interrupted you. I just pointed at something.
I'm just gonna do that randomly.
Get that finger out of my face.
I'm gonna do that randomly when you're casting. Just start waving the finger up. TJ, what's that on your shirt?
That's not fair because, unlike you, a true professional, I am the most easily distracted person on the planet.
I've been anything but professional this season in Grandmaster. Let's get that straight.
How dare you?
A lot of people say that Paladin versus Warrior is starting to become more Paladin favored because of the way things have panned out with drawing a lot and getting Zephyrus the Great. I think that this Warrior just plays correctly and just generally mulligans for the right tools, and as long as they don't take too much unnecessary damage, they're in a decent spot. I think it does depend on one factor. Do you get a Turning Rover on 1?
He does not have a Turning Rover in his deck. That's the other thing I was trying to point at.
Volpera Scoundrel.
Volpera Scoundrel can get Dr. Boom's Scheme.
Ooh.
Dan.
You're right.
That's even better than a Turning Rover.
I think Firebat is one of the my favorite players to watch for a lot of reasons. One, I love doing interviews with him, so I just kind of cheer for him because I want him to talk to us. But two, he's got some real nice, nasty curveballs.
Yeah.
You know, real good breaking balls on it, you know?
Yeah.
Real good movement on his pitches.
Yes. I love sports reference.
He's got the stuff.
So, fun story that will be irrelevant to most people. that are watching the broadcast right now, but I was a catcher when I played baseball in high school. And
I was a second baseman that occasionally position pitched. I knew how to
Nice.
throw one pitch, a fastball down the middle,
2-seam, 4-seam.
aka a meatball. I knew how to throw a meatball every single pitch.
So we had a pitcher on our team in my junior year who was 1 year older than me, who went on to actually play for Fresno State, which the year after I graduated, Fresno State won the NCAA title. Wow, that's awesome. He had a knuckleball.
You
I
had to catch a knuckleball?
I did.
Wow.
It
And
was-
you decided that knuckleballs weren't enough. You decided to cast with throw it in.
Yep, that's right. And for those of you who don't know, knuckleball is a pitch that you throw with your knuckles that does not spin, which means its movement is completely erratic.
It's dictated by the air movement.
It's dictated by...
AKA, it's a Yogg-Saron pitch.
It's a Yogg-Saron pitch. You never know where it's going to go.
Yes.
Even as a catcher, you could catch thousands and thousands of the knuckleball from a same pitcher, and it'll never look the same.
Yes.
Very difficult.
There's a popular saying, I forgot who it said, it was by a guy that caught for a knuckleball pitcher. It's like, how do you catch a knuckleball? It's like, oh, you walk over and pick it up from the ground.
Yeah, it is very difficult. And as a high school catcher, too, playing against a high-level pitcher, I don't think he went on to play pro, but he went on to play high-level college ball, was very difficult. They do it at like almost 80 miles per hour, too, which is insane for a knuckleball, especially for a high schooler.
Well, that's all well and good, TJ. And there's going to be playing knuckleballs from Firebat as he
heroic
revealed the
strike.
heroic strike.
Is it even good here? I guess so. The recurring damage from the Acolyte could be a big deal.
Right.
but-
It's not good, but it's like something that he needs to do, which is wipe it off the board.
Yeah.
It is interesting given that he already has Dynamatic.
Well,
but
let's say you flash of light the Dynomatic.
right.
That would be
The Acolyte.
disastrous. Yes, flash of light the Acolyte, excuse me.
You make
before
him
the Dynomatic.
overdraw.
You could, but
I hope you like my
a
invention.
lot of times it's not enough.
The one thing we've been seeing out of some of the Paladins is hand management, and everything seems to be going good for Eddie, and it's kind of like what you're saying, the deck list isn't the traditional one for Firebat, and he hasn't been able to hero power because he's been playing Parascoundrel. This is one of those things, like, before in the past, we saw purple, like, like Warpath and hero power, right? 'Cause they just want to hit that armor total. If you Dynamatic, you're like missing out on the armor and you're making yourself potentially vulnerable to those big double Holy Wrath setups.
Light the fuses!
Because Dynamatic isn't going to win you the game by its tempo. But if it sticks, it gets some good damage and it forces Eddie to kind of do something.
I don't know. I think I may have liked the Warpath better there. I just want to hit the armor button as much as possible. If I'm not playing Bomber, which Firebat is
Right. But this is also an investment into his future mana as well, or future life as well. Like, he can just use the Dynamatic to clean up. That being said, had he Warpath and Hero Power and he played Dynamatic this turn, almost the same outcome.
Yeah, he just net 2 armor, because...
See what comes out of this Omega Assembly. Ooh. Zilliax. And you can use results-oriented thinking to say, if he saved that Omega Assembly and got all 3 of those options, he probably only won Zilliax anyways.
Yeah.
This is looking a little awkward here for Firebat. Holy Wrath being drawn. One thing that's also important to note is that with a full hand, Eddie can't really Prismatic Lens very easily. But that might not be something he's concerned about either, because if he gets Holy Wrath switched with Shrivala, and that's just a possibility, but a possibility nonetheless, that might mean that he can't win the game.
That's true. He actually only has a Soup Bender left.
Yep, only one remaining minion that he can draw off his Christology, so it works. Assuming he's counting correctly, he is. And he's very familiar with Holy Wrath Paladin. It's a deck that he played a lot in Season 1 of Grandmasters.
Yeah.
It was slightly different. It didn't have
Zephyrus or...
Zephyrus.
That's it. Some players played Subdue towards the beginning, but Eddie does not.
Yeah, Eddie's playing a similar-ish
plenty to
list
go
to Season
round.
1.
Yeah.
Paladins.
Must move quickly.
This is mostly a hand dump turn.
Yeah, it's this version is very big on the cycle.
Yeah. He even has the Blessing of Wisdom.
Right.
Firebat at 35 life currently. 15 away from the sweet spot.
Finds Ziliak's number 2.
Which is kind of awkward. I think he was hoping for Restless Mummy. That way he could trade over 2 minions.
Well, you can still Warpath twice.
Yeah, Warpath twice and leave up the Kangor?
Good point.
Because I don't think you care about the healing, but you do care somewhat about the draw.
Yeah, this is pretty awkward. Yeah, I think I'll leave up the healing. It's a 1 attack. I definitely don't want them to draw, and I want a hero power.
I guess there's nothing for him to heal to gain.
Oh yeah, he doesn't gain enough through it.
Yeah.
And the Kangor stops future healing. Okay. Gamer of Wrath.
Yep. If you can throw it at the face, you are cooking.
It's just all these little small things, right? It's like small damage that gets in here every single turn is what's keeping Firebat armor count from running away. Snip snap. It's a good pickup.
Yep.
The more you can pile up snip snap, the more dramatic the Ziliak's life swing will be. Back over to Eddie.
He's already 8 cards left in his deck.
Yeah, that's the one thing about Holy Wrath Paladin is that even though the game, it's like a game that or a deck that likes to go and draw to the fatigue stage of the game, it tends to be fast games for a combo deck.
Yeah.
Very, very fast.
Yeah.
You either lose really quickly, or you draw to the end of your deck and get into your situation where you have to figure out how to combo. Either way, the game ends fairly fast.
Yeah, and I don't think that Firebat has time to recover from this deficit. He needs 50 life to survive both the Holy Wrath combos, or something crazy to happen if Eddie misplays, or if... Can Vulpir Scoundrel find anything weird?
I'm gonna win big.
No. You can find a mystery choice.
Lackey, which gives him another Discoverer spell.
I'm thinking he's needing a Spellworth Jeweler.
That'd just be beyond ridiculous. So,
can he gain enough life to offset the second Holy Wrath with double Ziliaks?
not really. He needs to make it so that his life count gets to... So he can swing... Let's say this, the Snip Snap survives, so it's 2. The double Ziliaks would be 8. He would have to get to a breakpoint where 8 goes above 25, and he has no more weapon to worry about.
Well, he gained 10 by putting 1 on each Snip Snap.
Oh, you're right. So he gained 10. So he would need to go to 41, which is 11 armor.
Let me
And
think.
he's at 32, so...
But he's running out of time.
He's running out of
And
time.
There's also Zephyrus.
Yes.
And Consecration.
Yeah, it's like, again, all these little small things that Eddie are doing to pick apart the armor just makes it difficult. Firebat has shield block, right? That's like a valuable thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
But multiple Pure Scoundrels are gone. He doesn't have a turning rover in his deck. Dr. Mad Genius would need to come out right now and then roll Flash Shield, something else Flash Shield.
Scrap down.
Yeah, Scrap Hound was another option to help get him out. If he could stick a big mech and then Ziliax onto one and Scrap Hound Ziliax onto another, but he needs 2 turns for that. Because he needs that burst of healing.
This is looking real bad for Firebat.
Yep.
So in 2 turns, Eddie's going to set this up, so he probably needs to find a way to dump his hand so he can also play shield block and get ahead of it.
Yep.
I think you want to armor up here for sure.
And then shield block next turn.
Shield block next turn, frighten flunky.
You also want to set up a big mech the turn right before.
Yeah, that's what the Devonish Dragatron is for. It's a big mech.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, Eddie even has the luxury to Zephyrus for...
I think you might want to Zephyrus for Tyrion now.
Yeah, Zephyrus for Tuner now. There's not a threat on board. You don't need a timeout.
I
Does
wonder.
Firebat have... he does not have Weapons Project for that burst of armor, but he does have Harrison Jones.
Ah, Harrison Jones is very important.
His hand is too full, though.
I don't think he cares.
Yeah, that's true.
Firebat looks worried. I'm worried for him. Eddie has a very intimidating setup going on here.
Yeah, I mean, look at the card differential. Firebat, 15 cards. Eddie, 2.
I can also see Eddie justifying an
Move
equality
quickly.
consecration here.
Yeah.
And then timeout rolling into
wonder.
the Zephyrus turn. But I think I do like the Zephyrus as well. Prismatic Lens draws
Shrink Ray.
yeah, just
I'm
any
almost
card.
out of cards.
Timeout or Shrink Ray. Interesting. So he consecrations, puts Firebat to 29.
Yeah, which means that he Holy Rat's next turn.
Right.
So we need shield block here, plus you can preemptively set up Ziliax.
Yeah, this is actually good for Eddie to cut Firebat's turn to generate armor by 1, which is big.
Firebat can delay it. If he uses one, there's no way he gets a double Ziliax turn. So if he shield blocks Ziliax is here, he forces Eddie to either leave up this 8 attack Ziliax, or he forces the Shrink Ray and delays Holy Wrath by 1, which gives Firebat more time to pick up.
He just times out. He just does a timeout, though, instead. Wouldn't he?
Yeah, but he can trade into Shirvala.
Oh, you're right. Because he has to play Cheval and Baleful
Or the
Banker.
Baleful Banker.
Yeah.
So I think use Ziliax there and force Eddie on a deviation. Because he would have to Shrink Ray.
No, I don't. He can also just time out Holy Wrath, Holy Wrath.
Yeah, but it's the life gain.
You're right. It's a life gain.
It's time to
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 25 coming in, puts Firebat down to 11. He's at 36.
Yeah, I think he would have. If the Ziliax last turn, he could double up on the Ziliax by attacking for 8. He would gain 13.
Right, because then there's also Divine Shield to protect the minion.
Yes, so we'd have to Shrink Ray,
Yeah.
which would delay it by a turn, which may have given Firebat the life total that he needed.
Yes, I think you're right. Oh man.
Now he's just dead 100%.
Right. There's no way for him to gain that much life.
Yeah, 100,000,000%.
So if he was able to stick it, he would have also gained a little bit extra life. He would have been able to squeeze another hero power.
It would have been a lot of extra life.
I wonder if Firebat could have actually won this game.
Because he would have gained 2 also because he was at 28.
Yeah, exactly. That was the point. He gained speed of 21.
And then it would have either forced Eddie to go for the Holy Wrath there or Shrink Ray, which would have given him more time to gain additional armor
Yeah.
and set up a bigger mech potentially for the second Ziliax. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
I'm not experienced enough in this matchup to know. It's a fairly difficult one to test out, given that there's not many control wards and not many OTK Paladins on ladder.
But you can see it was still like relatively close, even though Firebat left a lot of like healing on the table, especially in
Right.
the early game.
Yeah, he opted to play like Scoundrel instead of Hero Power.
Yeah, it's I think that it's not super necessary to like play for Temple in the early game, especially if you're playing Control Warrior, because you're rarely going to kill him. You just need to maximize life gain every turn, because they just won't win.
Definitely some food for thought. Eddie gets a win and improves to 3-1, but because we obviously, as you can see, he's not on camera, we don't have a way to reach him for this week's interview. So with that, should we interview Firebat?
I'd be
let's
down for it.
ask him about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd like to maybe talk about that and stuff.
I don't know if he's already left or if production wants to, but
it's difficult because sometimes players don't want to talk after a defeat because they're trying to process, and you catch them in a vulnerable moment.
we don't want to like bully him and say, "Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that?"
Some players do want to do it though, and so we most likely give them that option. Either way, let's go ahead and recap the day then with our schedule since we have the time. Saiyan took on Zalay, and Zalay gets his first win of Season 2, while Saiyan takes his first loss. Then we had Race equalize his record with a 2-2 by beating Frozen, handing Frozen's first defeat of the season.
Yeah, not only his first match defeat, but also his first game defeat, which is interesting. He was crushing it. Nalgidon defeated Muzzy 2-0. 3-1 for Nalgidon up at the top of his division. Gallon defeated his friend Purple in a 2-1 series, getting his 2-0 for the week. And Eddie also moving up to 3-1 and bumping Firebat to 2-2 here at the end of week number 2.
That's a big win for Eddie. In the meantime, check out some of the matches that are going to be happening next Friday. These aren't the classes. These are just placeholders based off of what they brought this past week. I expect some shakeup. Muzzy going to take on the ETC. Frozen versus Saiyan. That's going to be a fun one. Back and forth. And then yet another Team Genji face-off. PNC versus Race.
Yeah. And of course, Monsanto, Amnesiac, and another battle of longtime friends, Firebat versus Purple, to close things out next Friday. So a lot of matches to look forward to next week, at least on Friday. So should be an exciting kickoff for our week 3.
Yeah. Do we have standings updates to check out like how everything is looking at Division A and Division B? We do. The technology is there. This is what it looked like right before Firebat played Eddie, which...
no, this is what it looked like
before the day.
Before the day.
Right. It'll update momentarily.
Oh, there it is. No undefeated players.
No undefeated players. Eddie and Bloodyface, 2 Lazarus Gaming players sitting on top division. Nalgidon and Frozen right behind him, along with just Saiyan. But I'm liking this spread. I feel like it's pretty competitive still, but it's only a couple of weeks in, and as the weeks continue to progress, we'll see how things shake up. But Striveco, ETC, PNC, Amnesiac, Zalay need a little bit of help. Reminder, this season is relegation. 8th place loses their spot. If it ended today, Zalay and ETC would no longer be Grandmasters.
Yeah, that's right. And, luckily for a lot of the players at the bottom, there are no winless players. So everybody's still only, 2 games max behind, 2 matches behind the first place in the division. So this, I think we had a little bit of a different story at the beginning of Season 1 where we still had a winless player and a undefeated player after week 2. But you like to see it close like that. You like to see it competitive. It feels like not a single player is showing up above the rest. Everybody's had their bad weeks. Everybody's had their bad matches, which means that next week is a good opportunity for some players to separate themselves from the pack.
All right, well, that brings us to a conclusion for this week of Grandmasters. If you missed any part of the broadcast, you want to check out some of the decks that are coming out with the new patch, or you just want to see one more time TJ and I give each other a pinky swear, check it all out, playhearthstone.com/esports. We're done here. We'll be back Friday with more action here at twitch.tv/playhearthstone. For Frodan, TJ, Sato Admirable, and everyone here in Studio 5 in Burbank, California, have a great Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you next time for more Hearthstone action.